What's up, Bills fans? It took me a while to get up the stomach to do another video, especially after another performance where I just wish they would have lost the Arizona game. And people say, "Oh, losing games for draft position." So what? At this point, I'll take an extra pick higher. Um, because this team's not going anywhere, and we all know that. And if people want to sit there and lie to themselves, which unfortunately for us Bills fans, it's a stock and trade. I mean, we lied to ourselves for years about this team. We allowed ourselves to be fooled again, and I think that's why the biggest reason a lot of us are so upset is we feel fooled. And we're like, well, how did we buy into this team? And we did it with no sample sizing either. We did it with nothing. There was no production. We just played games on paper, and I'll be the first one to admit I was guilty of it. I played games on paper, saying that this could be a win, this could be a win. We didn't see this team play one down of football, and we just all bought in. The same way we bought in when T.O. signed, we automatically thought that was the elixir to all the problems, that we're going to have a deep passing game, etc., etc. Meanwhile, there's a wide receiver on the roster who now is their best wide receiver and was probably better than all of them at that time too, Stevie Johnson. He just didn't get the opportunity. The same way Fred Jackson languished behind guys like Anthony Thomas and Shawn Williams, or whoever else you want to throw, whatever running back they had on the roster then, Willis McGahee. Um, I don't know if he was there when McGahee was there. I think he was in the practice squad. Then they draft Lynch and Fred. I think with the same is better than any of those guys, and that's more to my point of being able to spot talent and play the talent instead of being locked into this thinking similar to what this regime is locked into, just drafting players from the SEC and stuff. And I bought into that philosophy at first. I was like, yeah, it makes sense. They win a lot of national titles. That doesn't always necessarily translate to success on the next level. You've got to find good football players everywhere, whatever, irregardless of what school they play, what competition. You got to find good ones no matter where they are. And you just can't get locked into this whatever right or left brain thing. I don't know which one to refer it to as, where you're just that's all we're going for. And that's the numbers don't lie. You look at the amount of players that they've invested in, and it's been predominantly on defense, and most of them are from the South, and the defense is horrible. So to fix that, because I don't care who the quarterback is, and I'm not endorsing Fitzpatrick at all, because I was never really big on him to begin with. I mean, trust me, I don't think any Bills fans sat there and said, well, I hope Fitzpatrick is bad. We didn't do that. We really all tried to buy into the guy. I mean, give him a fair shake, and he's royally shit the bed with the opportunity he's had as Buffalo's undisputed starting quarterback. And the whole rigmarole with Vince Young and Travaris Jackson is a joke, because Gailey knows the second he sits Fitz down, it's over. The gig is up. It's up for him, and it's up for Fitz. It's already up for Fitz. They're just playing on borrowed time. They're playing out the season to make their game checks, and they're gone. They know that. And Whaley's waiting in the wings. I mean, those rumors don't start up from nowhere in Buffalo. There's no, I don't think there's any doubt about it. And again, a quarterback needs to be acquired in the draft, no doubt about it. But defense being the way it is, they've invested so much money and so much time in picking these players. A lot of these guys are still going to be here next year. Williams is going to be here next year, both of them, Kyle and Mario. I would trade Kyle Williams, to be honest with you. He's been here on a lot of bad defenses. He's a good player. He still has good value, and I would get what I can for him. He's going to be 30 years old. Why not? It's not like he's made or broke this team at all, for better or worse. I mean, it would behoove them not to try to move him for something. It really would. They're locked into Mark Anderson for at least another year. They could pretty much pull the plug on Kelsey. The linebacker core can all go, Shepard included. Bradham may be salvageable, but none of those guys have flashed, and that's generally a position where young players are allowed to use their athletic ability and fly around and make plays. And none of them have done that. A guy like, they need to cut the cord with certain guys. They really do on defense. And I'm really addressing the defense because, honestly, save fits on offense, skill player, offensive line, running. I really like our offensive personnel. I really do. I think it's good. I think it's really good. And it's a shame it doesn't have a quarterback that can steer that ship correctly like they deserve. And I think the frustration on those players during in and out of plays when there's a pass that goes behind them, sails over their head, gets thrown under, and it gets intercepted because there's just a lack of fundamental situational football being played at quarterback. It kills you. You play hard all game and you get a guy who wants to, for whatever reason, force a pass that's not there and blow the game. Excuse me, had to take a drink. But defense, again, this defense is not going to go anywhere. And I think the personnel that's largely here is going to be the personnel that we're going to see for the next few years at least. I'm firm on my position to trade Kyle Williams. I'm firm in my position to get rid of Fitz, get rid of a lot of guys. George Wilson needs to be upgraded over, and it has nothing to do with the dropped interception last week. But that's just more like tip of the iceberg. We're in the week 7. When has George Wilson made a play this entire season? Because you get all these people wanting to run and defend him on the message boards and on the Facebook page about don't blame George. When has he made any plays? Bills fans, they just develop this blind loyalty to these players because they might be nice guys or whatever. I'm sorry, I want winners. I don't want nice guys. I don't want a collection of "oh shucks, we'll get them next time," lovable loser bunch bullshit anymore. That shit's over. That was over, and that's been over a long time ago. And it always seems to rekindle again. Oh, they're fun to watch. They're in games. No, I don't give a fuck. I really don't. That's old. That's like drinking day-old milk to me. It's just like, ugh. No, thank you. No, thank you. Because, and I was a fan of Gailey's, but I'm not anymore. The guy doesn't have any answers. He's too one-dimensional of a coach, just like Jerron was. Too much of one, not enough of the other. Doesn't have any idea what's going on defense. Doesn't have a clue on how to fix it. The low standard in Buffalo is still the same. You'll see a team like Carolina fire their GM for all bad personnel moves and busted draft picks. Nix, he's still there. They'll fire their defensive coordinator in Philly, and their defense is ranked 13th overall. God, you got a Buffalo defense getting ripped for record numbers, and shit, Wani's still up there laughing and yucking it up with his buddy Gailey. Like I said in my last video, it's just a big circle of friends. But more to solutions instead of what we know to be flawed, which is a lot. I'm already thinking draft, and I've talked about this with a few Bills buddies of mine. If they cannot draft Geno Smith with the first overall pick, they still have to get a quarterback, which will be I'm hoping will be Colin Klein or Zach Dysert. Those are the two quarterbacks I like. Barkley won't be there, and I'm just kind of on those fair-haired USC boys. They just too much, remnants of Sanchez and Leinart type of, Matt Castle. They just all come to mind. The guy that I would really like to see the Bills pick if they cannot get Geno Smith, because Geno Smith to me would be a redundancy if they were in position to draft him. In a realistic term, just where they are right now in the standings, you look at all great defenses, they universally have something, and that's a great middle linebacker. Manti Te'o would be it. If he's on the board and the Bills card goes up, that's the guy they have to take. No fancy frills, no nothing, just a good old-fashioned, hard-nosed, loves to play football, loves to get his uniform dirty, middle linebacker. That's what I want. A guy who can fill a gap, make a fundamental tackle, fly around, make a hit, intimidate, and play the game the right way. You got to build somewhere. Rome wasn't built in a day. This mess won't be fixed in a day. But they have to start somewhere, because if you cannot stop anybody and keep yourself in games, it becomes dejecting on both sides. Offense and defense, they're dejected because they're getting beat up, and offense, they're dejected because you just can't keep up. So, in my opinion, if the quarterback isn't there, there's no need to panic. Don't reach. Get the quarterback for the defense. And that kid, again, not too much. Sometimes I'm not a fan of Notre Dame players, but this kid would be perfect. You watch him play, you hear him interview, he's perfect. I'd like to hear your thoughts and feedbacks on it, Bills fans. Let me know what you think. Some of my ideas, trading Kyle Williams, upgrading over George Wilson, finally cutting the cord on just some of these guys that have just been around for so long and part of bad and average defenses. Kelsey, Scott, McGee. It's time to really, really turn the page and get this thing steered in the right direction, because I think there's too many guys that play on this team that are too comfortable, and I think they're also too comfortable losing. They really are. They're very, very okay with it, and it's got to stop. And I think the only way that stops is there's players that want to win and will fight, scratch, and claw to do that. So let me know what you think, Bills fans. Have a good week.